Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, and by Stellaris I mean Stellaris Music, because we're doing Operation Logistics. Now, I had an idea, and it's probably a terrible one, and I kind of want to test it out and see just how bad it is. So, the idea is, when we first do, like, each hex manager, we would then... No, it's just a terrible idea. I think maybe we shouldn't do it at all. Well, I'm just trying to think, is there an easy way to do it? If we're in the hex manager... So what I'm thinking is we just generate the buildings at the beginning of the map and see just how bad the performance actually is. It's going to be awful. I'm pretty sure. So what I'm thinking is we don't really have an easy way to do this at the beginning of the game, right? So, I mean, we could theoretically, when we generate the map here, we could theoretically generate our buildings here-ish by manually iterating through, and I think it's just a bad idea. I think we're just not going to do it for now, and we'll shelve that idea and consider it later, maybe. So, first things first, let's take a quick look at what we've got so far. And this is not performing amazingly well, but I think... Okay, now it's performing better. Excellent. Okay, so we've got this sort of situation going on. Now, obviously, we can't see into the hexes, and that is actually a pretty big problem. We're going to want to be able to see into the hexes to some degree. I mean, like... To what degree is the question? And I don't know. But I think the first thing that I would like to do is start populating this top bar up here just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the stats, and let's go into our canvas. And we'll just start populating this a little bit with inside of the image, I'm going to go ahead and create an empty, and this is just going to be called top bar. There we go. Create an empty inside of the top bar. Actually, the top bar itself can probably do that. So I'm going to go to horizontal layout group, and we are just going to put in a UI element image. And this image is definitely going to be driven by the size here, width and height. There we go. Okay, so this particular image is probably going to be a little bit smaller. So actually, I think we do need that empty. Let's go ahead and create it. So create the empty, place it here. I'm going to copy the horizontal layout group and then remove it. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste component as new and put the image inside of here, and I'm going to just call this layout group. Okay. And I'm just wondering why this isn't taking up the whole thing. It feels like it should. We can go ahead and space them out a little bit, but maybe if I remove this component, let's just delete these at this point. Is this still running a layout group? No, it is not. So let's put in a new horizontal layout group and just make sure that everything is working completely correctly. UI image. Oh, it's because the empty here needs to be set like that. So we need to set it to stretch and be all the way across. However, I want it to be a little bit smaller, maybe about 5 pixels smaller. Yeah, about like that. Excellent. That's perfect. That's exactly how I want that to work. So I'm going to go ahead and call this the company name background. Actually, instead of doing Windows, what are you doing? Go away. Why did it want me to install a printer all of a sudden? I have no idea. Windows, just stop. Okay. So, instead of doing an image here, hypothetically, what if we were to do a input field? Well, now that's interesting, isn't it? Get rid of the image. There we go. And then the input field here is going to be, you know, substantially smaller, realistically. But for right now, we'll leave it the way it is. And then if we go in-game, let's just see if we can put things into it. So then, let's, nope, it appears to be locked. Okay. Well, let's see here. The text component, placeholder, and text. Where exactly are these components at? I don't actually see them. And I'm wondering why I don't actually see them. Let's make it be pure black. And the same thing here. Actually, the placeholder being 128 is fine. There we go. So where is the text? It's actually an interesting question. Well, let's get rid of this input field then. And we could create ourselves a TextMesh Pro input field. Maybe that'll work. Have this be stretch. Ah, that's the issue. Okay. So we just need the height of this top bar to be maybe a little bit bigger. Like 40? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, and our placeholder would then be test company name. Excellent. Okay, so this would be company name field. There we go. So we can now customize our company name. It doesn't actually do anything, but visually we can do it. And then the next thing I would like to put on would be a UI image. So let's do another image here. Make sure that we have it stretching. There we go. We'll make this have the same, well, not really background image, but the input field background. That'll do. And then we will do a UI TextMesh Pro text. It will be color black for right now. And I want this to be stretch, with it being about 5, 5, 5, 5, and the same font size as this over here. So what font size is this? 14? That'll be fine. Okay. And let's just make sure that this is centered vertically. There we go. And let's make sure that we have the same indentation here, actually, which is 1076. Well, 10, 10, 7, 6. So let's do 10, 10, 7, 6. There we go. That looks good. So this will be our financial background. So financial BKG, and this will be our financial text. And then we will say something along the lines of $0, and then, I don't know, minus, we'll say for right now, minus $50. This price will obviously be very different later on. And then maybe also a plus $270. Since that's, you know, how much we're expected to make in the next cycle. Whatever that means. So expenditure. And then we could even, we could even toss in an equals. So then, like, our balance. So we'd have our current, our expenses, our income, and then our expected balance, which would be, you know, in this case, $220. Kind of like that-ish. Probably won't leave it that way, but for the purposes of right now, that'll be fine. What other things do we need on here? Well, we can go ahead and duplicate our financial BKG with Control D. I'm going to go ahead and do that a couple of times, but let's pop open our design document here with Notepad++. After it opens and tells me about the update that it wants me to have. Actually, it didn't tell me about the update. That's interesting. Okay, so we can have planes, ships, trucks, trains. Excellent. And then delivery would be potentially like on foot. So potentially up to 5 types of movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now the question is, do we want there to be any more spacing here? And the answer is probably yes. 5 pixels? 10 pixels? Maybe 20. 20 is too much. I think 10 is good. Okay, so then for the financial BKG 1, this will be planes BKG, and then planes text. And then it would be something along the lines of, I don't know, we'll say right now we have 20 planes. And 20 planes cost us, say... And actually, I think I'm going to go back to the financial here and just delete the equals portion here. So we have a little more space, because I'm realizing we're going to need a little bit more on this top bar. We can add some padding if necessary as well, but this space should be sufficient. So 20 planes, and then we'll say that 20 planes is costing us, I don't know, $5,000 a day. Okay. So what is the base time unit of this game? I don't know yet. We'll figure that out in a moment, because we will need a time section over here, and that's going to be kind of paradox-inspired. So then this will be ships BKG. How many ships do we have? Well, this is all placeholder, of course. So ships text, this would be something along the lines of, I don't know, maybe we have 5 ships. And these are costing us, I don't know, maybe the same $5,000 a day. I would need to look up what these actually are, but for right now, because I'd want to be able to kind of ballpark it. Okay, so then this would be trains BKG. And then trains text. And we'll say that we hold, I don't know, 2 trains. And that's costing us $2,000 a day. I have no idea if this is anywhere close to ballpark. I'm just making it up. We'll balance all of that later on. And actually, I forgot the 00. There we go. And then this would be trucks BKG. Trucks text. And we'll say that we own, I don't know, 50 trucks. And that's costing us, say, $10,000 a day. Again, this probably isn't anywhere near accurate. And then this here would be, like, on-foot delivery people who can't necessarily get to... Like, if a truck can't get to a location, these people would be the ones that deliver it from the truck, essentially. So are they deployed from the truck and then returned to the truck? Or are they deployed from a depot that the truck goes to? That's an important question, actually. I think... Those depots would have to be pretty cheap. I think they can be deployed from the truck, in which case we don't actually need this at all. Okay, so we've got this right now. We can put in our company name, and we can always change that at any time. But I think the next thing that we need is to put up a time system. So let's go ahead and say time BKG. And this here is going to be a little bit more in depth. So we're going to go ahead and change this truck's text to read something along the lines of, we'll just say it's 12 noon, and I think we're not going to run AM PM just to save on some characters here. We'll run 24-hour clock. So 12 p.m., 1 January, and what should the starting year be? I mean, we've got planes, we've got ships, we've got trains. It can kind of be anything in the last 100 years or so, but I'm kind of going for a more of a bit modern feel. Not super hyper modern, but maybe we'll start in the year 2000. It doesn't really matter, but that should be fine. So we're gonna have minutes, and we're not really gonna have seconds. I don't think we're gonna model down to that level, but we are going to have a couple speeds to this game. So we're going to need a few buttons here, and I'm gonna go ahead and create an empty here, and I'm going to position this. I want it to be stretched in the center, but I want the left to be right about here. So about -82. Oh wait, hang on. Hang on. I want to just full on stretch it like that. And then the left can be positioned... Well, we'll just do this for right now. I can't really see what's going on in here. That's the issue that I'm having. But I do want to move this guy over this way a bit to be right about here-ish. Although now that I think about it, maybe we want this to be another horizontal layout group. And we can control the width and height. This can go ahead and stretch. Okay. And then we will pad it about 10 pixels left and right. That seems weird that it's moving this over here. Is it though? Or is it moving the whole camera? Yeah, these are definitely moving if we pad this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this component then, and we're going to create a new empty inside of here that just stretches this whole way. And it is going to be 10, 10, 7, 6. There we go. So it fits right on in there. And then it will go ahead and horizontal layout group. Width, height. Excellent. And this will be the time layout group. There we go. And let's just go ahead and add a UI button for right now. I wish... Well, we can redo it. So you can see this isn't a Text Mesh Pro button for sure. And I'm just going to go ahead and set this to be stretched. There we go. Hang on. Some values were driven by the horizontal layout group. Apparently it isn't letting us stretch the button. That seems a little weird to me. Why isn't it allowing us to stretch this button? Well, it's actually not allowing us to stretch this text either. I guess this is fine. So what happens if we duplicate this? Oh, that's actually basically exactly what I wanted it to do. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. So we're probably going to replace this text with a Text Mesh Pro text. And then the question is, how many buttons do we need here? I think we only need these 4. I think this is fine. And then the question is, how big can this get? So the time text here, and I'm going to rename this from trucks text, time text, I think the biggest it can get, I don't know if this is a monospaced font. It kind of doesn't look like one. No, it's definitely not monospaced. But I think November... Oh, look at that. It actually scales the buttons. I don't like that. I don't want it to scale the buttons based on the size of this. But, like, this is basically the biggest it gets. If we uncheck that... Yeah, that's pretty much what I was looking for right there. Perfect. I like it. Okay. So this is basically as big as it gets right here, except for... Is there any month that's longer than November? Maybe February? No, I don't think it is. I think we're good. Okay. So let's just go ahead and go through and replace these texts here with some Text Mesh Pro texts. And I'm just going to copy that and paste it in here. Apparently paste it in here. There we go. Okay, so all of these texts are going to need a couple of things. One, font size of 14 is probably going to be better. And then let's go ahead and have them be stretched. And make sure that it's all set to 0000. So that they all fit in exactly the same way. Okay, and now let's color them black, since that'll be much easier to see. And obviously we don't want this to be the text, so for right now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. 14 is maybe a bit large. And they're a bit off-center as well. That's okay, I think. Well, I mean, it's not great. I'm just wondering if there's an option here that we can do. It's not kerning. I just want to change the position of it slightly. I mean, we could just grab them and move them up a little bit. About like that. That would be fine. Maybe right there. I'm also wondering if maybe the time layout group should be expanded a little bit. The time BKG isn't part of it, so maybe we should increase the vertical size a little bit. Nope. Upper center? Actually, middle center. Yeah, I think that's better. Actually, that didn't change the size at all. I think we're fine. Let's just check here. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to replace these later on, but for right now, this is going to have to do. So let's just, this isn't going to work, really. I think I'm going to get rid of this and just have this be carrots for right now. There we go. Yeah, that was kind of to be expected. Let's go ahead and bring this down to a font size of 10 and recenter that. I think this font, the lines here are just a little bit off center. And you can see that this is going off a little bit here, so let's try 8. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, it's going to be maybe a little on the small side when we hit play here. That's actually okay, I guess. I mean, it's certainly small. Maybe we should expand these down here. So, like, for example, we would move the time text out of the layout group into there. And then the layout group, we could then put in a image here. And the image would probably be something along the lines of this again, but colored. Where's the picker? Here's the picker. Colored like this. And then place this like right over here. And actually, I'd probably just have this not have a sprite at all. And then set the pivot to be over here. So that the X position would then be... I'll set the pivot to be 1, 1. X position of 0 is there, apparently. Yeah, that's right. We need to go 5 pixels over. And then this is 40 pixels high, so negative 40. And then this is offset by 7, so I think we need to go to 33. Yes. And then we'll say a width of 244 is definitely too much. Let's take this down to 34, actually. Maybe 35 will fit. Yeah, that seems 5. That seems fine. We can increase the height of this thing pretty substantially down to about 40 pixels or so. And allow the buttons to expand with it. There we go. We'll try 200 pixels. I kind of hate that. But that's mostly because this font here isn't changing with it. But that's okay. We'll try, not 57, I meant 24. There we go. We'll try that. I feel like this is still going to be a little too big, but we need to toss in a little bit of padding on this layout group. So let's do 10, 10, 7, 7. I feel like we don't need that much top and bottom padding. 5, 5. 0 top, 5 bottom, maybe? And then 5 left and right. That could be doable. And then if we take this time text, we can then center this. Is this a layout group? No. Why is this text box not where it needs to be? I think we just say 10, 10, 7, 6. There we go. Now it's centered. Okay. And then if we add more things up there, it might get a little better. But that's probably good enough for now, anyway. I do want to take this one here and see about positioning it maybe... Yeah, that character is just a little off, but that's okay. It'll do for now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode we'll see about maybe making some of this functional. See you all then.